Hey sports card fans, it's John, Boggs fan, back with another video. Hope you're all doing well. Today I have another progress video on my 100 cards for $100,000. Today I've picked up two more on that list, cards number 13 and 14. Before I get into the video, I do want to thank everyone who's been following along on my journey. It's been fun, but also challenging at the same time. I was hoping right before I recorded this video to have one card number 15. It was a 1962 Topps Hank Aaron in a gorgeous looking PSA 4. Now, on my list, I was targeting a PSA 5 for that card. I had budgeted around $250 for a 5. I saw this 4 and sort of fell in love with it. I mean, it was a gorgeous looking 4. And the 5s currently are going for around $220 or so, but with what I had currently, saved up or able to spend on a card like that right now, no, I couldn't go. I couldn't go for a 5. But this PSA 4, I was really, really nice. But again, I have to keep within my budget and what I can safely spend on a card at any given time. So PSA 4s for that 62 Topps Aaron have been averaging around $140. And the most recent high sale is $160. So I knew this card had great eye appeal. So I knew I had to, be on that higher end, and I was maybe willing to push things maybe to around $170 or so. Again, that would have put a big dent in my card spending budget until I get paid again. So it was going to be a big commitment to go after this card. And I kept watching it, and sure enough, right at the end, it ended at $197.50. So it blew the most recent high comp by almost $40 and is like $20 just off what a PSA 5 goes for. So, when I've noticed that when I've been looking for these cards and I find even just a fairly well-centered copy with, some pretty good eye appeal, they're going for above comps. I mean, I thought that we were hopefully off those crazy highs from around this time last year. I know there was a dip in some certain cards, not talking vintage or modern, but speaking vintage, that there was some little drop or leveling off. But I'm finding, even for the cards that I've won, the ones I wanted to go after, I'm taking a look at the comps, and if it has pretty good eye appeal to me, I'm having to pay above that. Forget about trying to get a decent deal and even, come in slightly under comps. I'm just not finding it. And maybe it's my particular eye or the cards that I want to, go after. But it's not easy finding some of these cards on my list. Not that they're not out there, but ones that have the eye appeal that I'm looking for, and two, that I can get them for a decent price. Another example. Now, this is one I was not going after, and it's not on my 100 cards for $100,000, but it was a 1980 Topps highlight, card number 1 of Lou Brock and Kari Yastrzemski. So it is a card that I would want for my 1980 Hall of Fame run and my Kari Yastrzemski run. Now, this was a PSA 9. Wasn't really interested or need a PSA 9. Maybe a PSA 8 is fine. I was watching it just to see where it would go. And maybe about within an hour, just under an hour under the auction, or before the auction ended, it was around $44. So I knew, again, especially if I was going after that Aaron, there was no way I could afford it, all that stuff. So I was just going to, watch and see where it ended, just for curiosity's sake. Well, to give a little background, there are, I was looking at the pop report on PSA. There are 130 PSA 9s. Okay, not super hard to get, but you know, they're out there. And the last one sold for $90. Okay. There are 34 10s. Now, the last 10 to sell was in 2019, but that sold for like 130 bucks, just under 130 bucks. Okay. So I was watching this auction, this PSA 9 sell. It sold for $128. So the last 9, and I don't think that 9 sold that long ago, maybe within the last 6 months, I think. The last one sold for $90. So this one sold for $30 more, and for the same price that the last PSA 10 sold for. Now, granted, the last PSA 10 again sold 3 years ago, but it's, I don't know. I'm not seeing, and I know there's some bargains out there. I've had a few here and there of some lesser Hall of Famers. I'm just not seeing some of these prices even leveling off. It's almost like every card I have to go after at or above, and most likely above comps if I want to get that card again in a eye appealing copy of a particular grade. So again, I'm not discouraged. It's just something that I'm gonna have to budget properly, and if I'm going after a card, I need to make sure that I can go above $30-$40 over the comp, be comfortable with that. Again, there's no way, even though I really loved that 62 Topps Aaron, I had to be true to myself and my budget. And as I saw that price going up and up and up, you know, the temptation was, okay, what's another $30? What's another $40? It's just $30-$40. What's a big deal? Well, I was already stretching myself to get that card. And again, I don't want to put myself in a financial strait just for a baseball card. So while I would have loved to have that, there'll be more opportunities down the road. Hopefully I'll find a nice copy of a 62 Topps Aaron at some point. I don't know what I'll have to pay for it, but hopefully I'll get it. But all right, enough introduction, rambling, explanation, and all that stuff. On to the 2 cards that I've added to my 100 cards for $100,000. And speaking of Hank Aaron, they are both Hank Aaron cards. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show off cards 13 and 14 on my way to 100 cards for $100,000. All right, card number 13, as I mentioned, is a Hank Aaron card, and this is one that I've been looking for quite some time, really since I started this quest of mine. And it's one where I just couldn't find a well-centered copy, or when I did, it was way above comps, so it was a struggle for me to find. I finally found one, and I guess, considering what I spent and what I had budgeted, I guess you could say I got a deal because it was close to comps. But it's the 1975 Topps Hank Aaron. Very well-centered copy. Not many of the fish eyes that you see with 75s. There's maybe a small one right there, but you can barely see it. Very clean copy. Back as well. Very pleased. And I was, honestly, I had put in a bid higher than comps. I forget what exactly it was. And I was shocked that no one outbid me. Because again, I'm used to getting outbid on some of these. My budget for this PSA 6 was $75. And with the shipping tax, I was right around 70. So I couldn't believe it. I don't know whether it was the time of the day or whatever, but this is a great looking 6. Very pleased and lucky that I was able to pick this up for the price that I did. So this is card number 13. All right, the next card again is a Hank Aaron as well. this one is the 1967 Topps Hank Aaron in a PSA 5. Now, on my 100 cards for $100,000, I had targeted a 6 with a budget of $175. Well, 6s are going for probably around $215. So I immediately said, hey, 6 right now, not in the cards. Hey, let's look for a decent looking 5. I think I found one here, pretty well centered, maybe slightly diamond centered, but overall, nice eye appeal in my opinion for this 5. Now, PSA 5s, again, are going for around $150. And again, looking at this, now this auction here only had a picture of the front of the card. So I was saying, hey, whatever the back is, I'm willing to, the front's pretty nice. So again, if you look at some of the 5s, even 6s that have sold, they're off center. So again, knowing what I've been experiencing here, seeing a fairly well-centered copy, I had to, be a little bit aggressive, and I ended up spending all in $160. So again, slightly over the comps for a 5, but in terms of my overall budget, I saved some money because 6s now are well over $200. And again, this listing did not have a picture of the back. Not the best back. It is diamond centered and it's really close to the border there. But you know what? Overall, I'm pleased with this. It's a Hank Aaron. The front looks really great. Willing to sacrifice some on the back. You still see most of the card. It's still pretty clean. It's just off-centered a little bit, which tends to probably lead to it being graded a 5 because the front presents very well. So overall, all right, for these 14 cards that I've accumulated so far, my total budget, or what I thought I would have to spend for those 14 cards, is $1,700. And up to this point, including shipping, taxes, I'm in right around $1,595. So I am still under budget by about $105. Not that I'm necessarily sitting on that money, but it's just a gauge of what I thought I would need to spend for some of these cards. Now, again, I don't call it cheating, but in terms of what I'm able to afford at any given time, I'm willing to go a grade lower than what I had wished for when I put the list together. So I'm very happy with that 5. I don't need a 6. This 5 is just great for me. So there you have it. Cards number 13 and 14. Not sure when I'm going to have card number 15. I was hoping to maybe have it next week, but that is out the window. So we'll see what comes on my radar next. There's a couple that, I ones that I'm interested in if I can find the right grade and eye appeal, and I have the money, saved up. We'll see. But until then, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.